Now this masterclass is about the iPhone, and specifically about the iPhone as a mobile multimedia gatherer, recorder, editor and broadcaster of content. And because of that, I'm going to do things in a slightly different way. I'm going to do things on the move, just to try and replicate the situations and the circumstances in which you'll be doing mobile reporting. So why the iPhone? Well, the iPhone's got the essentials. As a smartphone, it's got GPS, so we can identify the location from which we are broadcasting. It's got a camera, so it's good for audio and stills, and you can edit that material within the camera. It's got voice memo, which is an audio system, which means you can record and broadcast audio straight from it. It's also got a QWERTY keyboard, which means you can type just about, because the keyboard's quite small. So on to the drawbacks. That keyboard is not great. The battery life is pretty dreadful. I could easily flatten this battery in a couple of hours doing this kind of thing. It also is not great in terms of signal away from hotspots, so we have to take that into account. We need Wi-Fi hotspots to be sure that we can upload a decent amount of video material. That said, the drawbacks, the defects, can actually be made up for with a mix of gadgets, hardware and additional software. So the defects of the phone really don't matter too much. So we'll look at two things. At the best ways of gathering this material, editing it, broadcasting it, both live broadcasts and also editing within the camera before we broadcast. And we'll also look at the platforms to which we broadcast. Now, it would obviously be great to have one location where all our content was drawn together and broadcast and published as a coherent whole, because the problem can be when you're doing snippets, you're updating a bit of video here to YouTube, you're tweeting about something there. The coverage can actually become quite fragmented, and it can be confusing for the audience. They might just be picking up a few bits of what you're doing and not the whole thing. So what we'll also do is set up a platform which all our material can be broadcast to and gathered there in a coherent way, and from which it can also be retransmitted to the range of social media that we would like to be a part of.